双语音标领航，注音阅读启蒙，叶兴阳有声读物。
On Heroes, Hero Worship, and the Heroic in History, by Thomas Carlyle. Contents: I, the hero, as divinity. Odin, paganism, Scandinavian mythology.
2.
The hero as prophet. Islam.
3.
The hero as poet. Dante, Shakespeare.
4.
The hero as priest. Luther. Reformation. Knox. Puritanism. V. The hero as man of letters. Johnson. Rousseau. Burns. 6. The hero as king. Cromwell. Napoleon. Modern revolutionism. Lectures on Heroes. May 5, 1840. Lecture I, the hero, as divinity. Odin, paganism, Scandinavian mythology. We have undertaken to discourse here for a little on great men, their manner of appearance in our world's business, how they have shaped themselves in the world's history, what ideas men formed of them, what work they did, on heroes, namely, and on their reception and performance, what I call hero worship and the heroic in human affairs. Too evidently, this is a large topic, deserving quite other treatment than we can expect to give it at present. A large topic,
Indeed.
an illimitable one, wide as universal history itself. For, as I take it, universal history, the history of what man has accomplished in this world, is at bottom the history of the great men who have worked here. They were the leaders of men. These great ones.
Te modellers.
Patterns. And in a wide sense creators. Of whatsoever the general mass of men contrive to do or to attain. All things that we see standing accomplished in the world are properly the outer material result, the practical realization and embodiment of thoughts that dwelt in the great men sent into the world. The soul of the whole world's history, it may justly be considered, were the history of these. Too clearly it is a topic we shall do no justice to in this place. One comfort is, that great men, taken up in any way, are profitable company. We cannot look, however imperfectly, upon a great man, without gaining something by him. He is the living light fountain, which it is good and pleasant to be near, the light which enlightens, which has enlightened the darkness of the world, and this not as a kindled lamp only, but rather as a natural luminary shining by the gift of heaven, a flowing light fountain, as I say, of native original insight, of manhood and heroic nobleness, in whose radiance all souls feel that it is well with them, on any terms whatsoever. You will not grudge to wander in such neighborhood for a while. These 6 classes of heroes, chosen out of widely distant countries and epochs, and in mere external figure differing altogether,
are,
if we look faithfully at them, to illustrate several things for us. Could we see them well, we should get some glimpses into the very marrow of the world's history. How happy could I but, in any measure, in such times as these, make manifest to you the meanings of heroism, the divine relation, for I may well call it such, which in all times unites a great man to other men, and thus, as it were, not exhaust my subject, but so much as break ground on it. At all events, I must make the attempt. It is well said, in every sense, that a man's religion is the chief fact with regard to him, a man's, or a nation of men's. By religion, I do not mean here the church creed which he professes, the articles of faith which he will sign, and, in words or otherwise, assert, not this wholly, in many cases not this at all. We see men of all kinds of professed creeds attain to almost all degrees of worth or worthlessness under each or any of them. This is not what I call religion, this profession and assertion, which is often only a profession and assertion from the outworks of the man, from the mere argumentative region of him, if even so deep as that. But the thing a man does practically believe, and this is often enough underscore without underscore asserting it even to himself, much less to others. the thing a man does practically lay to heart, and know for certain, concerning his vital relations to this mysterious universe, and his duty and destiny there, that is in all cases the primary thing for him, and creatively determines all the rest, that is his _religion_,
or
it may be his mere skepticism and _no religion_, the manner it is in which he feels himself to be spiritually related to the unseen world or no world. And I say, if you tell me what that is, you tell me to a very great extent what the man is, what the kind of things he will do is. Of a man or of a nation we inquire. Therefore, first of all, what religion they had. Was it heathenism? Plurality of gods? Mere sensuous representation of this mystery of life? And for chief recognized element therein physical force? Was it Christianism? Faith in an invisible, not as real only, but as the only reality, time, through every meanest moment of it, resting on eternity. Pagan empire of force displaced by a nobler supremacy, that of holiness? Was it skepticism, uncertainty and inquiry whether there was an unseen world, any mystery of life except a mad one, doubt as to all this, or perhaps unbelief and flat denial? Answering of this question is giving us the soul of the history of the man or nation. The thoughts they had were the parents of the actions they did. Their feelings were parents of their thoughts. It was the unseen and spiritual in them that determined the outward and actual. Their religion, as I say, was the great fact about them. In these discourses, limited as we are, it will be good to direct our survey chiefly to that religious phasis of the matter. That once known well, all is known. We have chosen as the first hero in our series Odin, the central figure of Scandinavian paganism, an emblem to us of a most extensive province of things. Let us look for a little at the hero as divinity, the oldest primary form of heroism. Surely it seems a very strange-looking thing, this paganism, almost inconceivable to us in these days. A bewildering, inextricable jungle of delusions, confusions, falsehoods, and absurdities, covering the whole field of life. A thing that fills us with astonishment, almost, if it were possible, with incredulity. For truly it is not easy to understand that sane men could ever calmly, with their eyes open, believe and live by such a set of doctrines. That men should have worshipped their poor fellow man as a god, and not him only, but stocks and stones, and all manner of animate and inanimate objects, and fashioned for themselves such a distracted chaos of hallucinations by way of theory of the universe. All this looks like an incredible fable. Nevertheless, it is a clear fact that they did it. Such hideous, inextricable jungle of misworships, misbeliefs, men, made as we are, did actually hold by, and live at home in. This is strange. Yes, we may pause in sorrow and silence over the depths of darkness that are in man, if we rejoice in the heights of pure vision he has attained to. Such things were and are in man, in all men, in us too. Some speculators have a short way of accounting for the pagan religion. Mere quackery, priestcraft, and dupery, say they. No sane man ever did believe it, merely contrived to persuade other men, not worthy of the name of sane, to believe it. It will be often our duty to protest against this sort of hypothesis about men's doings and history. And I here, on the very threshold, protest against it in reference to paganism, and to all other _isms by which man has ever for a length of time striven to walk in this world. They have all had a truth in them, or men would not have taken them up. Quackery and dupery do abound, in religions. Above all in the more advanced, decaying stages of religions, they have fearfully abounded. But quackery was never the originating influence in such things. It was not the health and life of such things, but their disease, the sure precursor of their being about to die. Let us never forget this. It seems to me a most mournful hypothesis, that of quackery giving birth to any faith even in savage men. Quackery gives birth to nothing, gives death to all things. We shall not see into the true heart of anything if we look merely at the quackeries of it, if we do not reject the quackeries altogether, as mere diseases, corruptions, with which our and all men's sole duty is to have done with them, to sweep them out of our thoughts, as out of our practice. Man everywhere is the born enemy of lies. I find Grand Lamaism itself to have a kind of truth in it. Read the candid,
clear-sighted,
rather skeptical Mr. Turner's account of his embassy to that country,
and see.
They have their belief. These poor Thibbet people, that Providence sends down always an incarnation of himself into every generation. At bottom some belief in a kind of pope. At bottom, still better, belief that there is greatest man. That he is discoverable. That, once discovered, we ought to treat him with an obedience which knows no bounds. This is the truth of Grand Lamaism. The discoverability is the only error here. The Thibbet priests have methods of their own of discovering what man is greatest, fit to be supreme over them. Bad methods. But are they so much worse than our methods of understanding him to be always the eldest born of a certain genealogy? Alas, it is a difficult thing to find good methods for. We shall begin to have a chance of understanding paganism when we first admit that to its followers it was, at one time, earnestly true. Let us consider it very certain that men did believe in paganism, men with open eyes, sound senses, men made altogether like ourselves, that we, had we been there, should have believed in it. Ask now, what paganism could have been. Another theory, somewhat more respectable, attributes such things to allegory. It was a play of poetic minds, say these theorists, a shadowing forth, in allegorical fable, in personification and visual form, of what such poetic minds had known and felt of this universe, which agrees, add they, with a primary law of human nature, still everywhere observably at work, though in less important things, that what a man feels intensely, he struggles to speak out of him, to see represented before him in visual shape, and as if with a kind of life and historical reality in it. Now doubtless there is such a law, and it is one of the deepest in human nature. Neither need we doubt that it did operate fundamentally in this business. The hypothesis which ascribes paganism wholly or mostly to this agency, I call a little more respectable, but I cannot yet call it the true hypothesis. Think, would we believe, and take with us as our life guidance. An allegory, a poetic sport? Not sport but earnest is what we should require. It is a most earnest thing to be alive in this world. To die is not sport for a man. Man's life never was a sport to him. It was a stern reality, altogether a serious matter to be alive. I find, therefore, that though these allegory theorists are on the way towards truth in this matter, they have not reached it either. Pagan religion is indeed an allegory, a symbol of what men felt and knew about the universe. And all religions are symbols of that, altering always as that alters. But it seems to me a radical perversion, and even inversion, of the business, to put that forward as the origin and moving cause, when it was rather the result and termination. To get beautiful allegories, a perfect poetic symbol, was not the want of men, but to know what they were to believe about this universe, what course they were to steer in it, what, in this mysterious life of theirs, they had to hope and to fear, to do and to forbear doing. The Pilgrim's Progress is an allegory, and a beautiful, just and serious one. But consider whether Bunyan's allegory could have preceded . The faith it symbolizes. The faith had to be already there, standing believed by everybody, of which the allegory could then become a shadow. And, with all its seriousness, we may say a sportful shadow, a mere play of the fancy, In comparison with that awful fact and scientific certainty which it poetically strives to emblem. The allegory is the product of the certainty, not the producer of it, not in Bunyan's nor in any other case. For paganism, therefore, we have still to inquire, whence came that scientific certainty, the parent of such a bewildered heap of allegories, errors and confusions? How was it? What was it? Surely, it were a foolish attempt to pretend, explaining, in this place, or in any place, such a phenomenon as that far-distant distracted cloudy imbroglio of paganism, more like a cloud field than a distant continent of firm land and facts. It is no longer a reality, yet it was one. We ought to understand that this seeming cloud field was once a reality, that not poetic allegory. Least of all that dupery and deception was the origin of it. Men, I say, never did believe idle songs, never risked their soul's life on allegories. Men in all times, especially in early earnest times, have had an instinct for detecting quacks, for detesting quacks. Let us try if, leaving out both the quack theory and the allegory one, and listening with affectionate attention to that far-off confused rumor of the pagan ages, we cannot ascertain so much as this at least, that there was a kind of fact at the heart of them, that they too were not mendacious and distracted, but in their own poor way true and sane. You remember that fancy of Plato's, of a man who had grown to maturity in some dark distance, and was brought on a sudden into the upper air to see the sun rise. What would his wonder be? His rapt astonishment at the sight we daily witness with indifference, with the free open sense of a child, yet with the ripe faculty of a man. His whole heart would be kindled by that sight. He would discern it well to be godlike. His soul would fall down in worship before it.
Now,
just such a childlike greatness was in the primitive nations. The first pagan thinker among rude men, the first man that began to think, was precisely this child-man of Plato's. Simple, open as a child, yet with the depth and strength of a man. Nature had as yet no name to him. He had not yet united under a name the infinite variety of sights, sounds, shapes, and motions, which we now collectively name universe, nature, or the like, and so with a name dismiss it from us. To the wild, deep-hearted man all was yet new, not veiled under names or formulas. It stood naked, flashing in on him there, beautiful, awful, unspeakable. Nature was to this man what to the thinker and prophet it forever is, preternatural. This green flowery rock-built earth, the trees, the mountains, rivers, many sounding seas, that great deep sea of azure that swims overhead, the winds sweeping through it, the black cloud fashioning itself together, now pouring out fire, now hail and rain. What underscore is underscore it? What? At bottom we do not yet know. We can never know at all. It is not by our superior insight that we escape the difficulty. It is by our superior levity, our inattention, our underscore want underscore of insight. It is by underscore not underscore thinking that we cease to wonder at it. Hardened round us, encasing wholly every notion we form, is a wrappage of traditions, hearsays, mere underscore words underscore. We call that fire of the black thundercloud electricity, and lecture learnedly about it, and grind the like of it out of glass and silk. But underscore, what underscore is it? What made it? Whence comes it? Whither goes it? Science has done much for us, but it is a poor science that would hide from us the great, deep, sacred infinitude of nescience, whither we can never penetrate, on which all science swims as a mere superficial film. This world, after all our science and sciences, is still a miracle, wonderful, inscrutable, underscore magical underscore and more, to whosoever will underscore think underscore of it. That great mystery of time, were there no other, the illimitable, silent, never-resting thing called time, rolling, rushing on, swift, silent, like an all-embracing ocean tide, on which we and all the universe swim like exhalations, like apparitions which are, and then are underscore not underscore. This is forever, very literally a miracle, a thing to strike us dumb. For we have no word to speak about it. This universe. Ah me, what could the wild man know of it? What can we yet know? That it is a force, and thousandfold complexity of forces,